class 10. So let us continue chapter number 8, current, electricity. Last time I told you about Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? I told you that according to Ohm's law, the current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across its ends, provided the physical conditions and the temperature remains constant. The mathematical form of Ohm's law is V equals to IR. V is potential difference, I is the current, and R is the resistance of the conductor. That means V upon I will always be a constant, and this constant is taken as resistance R. So, if we plot a graph for a metallic conductor, because for a metallic conductor the ratio V upon I is always a constant for all the values of V and I. So, if a graph is plotted for current I against potential difference V, we get a straight line because the ratio is always the constant. If V upon I is constant, so I upon V will also be a constant. If we will double the current, potential difference will also be doubled. If we triple the current, the potential difference will also be tripled. So we will obtain a straight line. So this is called the IV graph for Ohm's law. And especially for a metallic conductor, because all metals obey the Ohm's law. Now, by finding the slope of this IV graph, we will get delta I upon delta V. Delta means change in current upon change in potential difference. For finding the slope of the line, we draw two perpendiculars, each on the x-axis as well as y-axis from any two points on this straight line. So the difference between these two values will give us delta I, and the difference between these two values will give us delta V. So the slope equals to delta I upon delta V. There is a triangle formed here, so this gives the slope perpendicular upon base. Perpendicular is delta I and base is delta V. So slope equals to delta I upon delta V, which is 1 upon R, because R is V upon I. So 1 upon R is I upon V. So the slope of the IV graph will give you 1 upon resistance of the conductor, which is also called as conductance. Reciprocal of resistance is also called as conductance. And if we are plotting a VI graph, then the slope of VI graph will give you resistance R. So you have to see the graph carefully. IV graph to 1 upon R, and if it is VI graph, so it gives directly the resistance of the conductor. Now, on the basis of this, there are two types of resistors. Ohmic resistors as well as non-ohmic resistors. The conductors which obey the Ohm's law are called as ohmic resistors or linear resistors. And examples are all metallic conductors such as silver, aluminium, copper, iron, etc. And the conductors which do not obey Ohm's law, these are called as non-ohmic resistors or non-linear resistors. Examples are LED, solar cell, junction diode, transistor, filament of a bulb, etc. So, for an ohmic resistor, if we plot a graph for V versus I, we will obtain a straight line. But the graph for V versus I for non-ohmic resistor is not a straight line, but it is a curve, which may or may not pass through O. This straight line will always pass through O. Now, the slope of this VI graph is same for all the values of V and I at the given temperature. The slope will remain the same. But for this non-ohmic resistor, the slope of VI graph is different at different values of V and I. That means non-ohmic resistors do not obey the Ohm's law. Now the next topic is that factors affecting the resistance of a conductor. I told you that resistance is the obstruction offered by the conductor to the flow of current. So these are the four factors which affect the resistance of a conductor. First factor is the material of the conductor. Now different materials have different concentration of free electrons and therefore the resistance of a conductor depends on its material. Metals such as silver, copper, aluminium, lead, they have high concentration of free electrons. So they offer less resistance. And the materials such as rubber, glass, wood, which are bad conductors, they offer very high resistance. So they are called insulators of electricity. So good conductor, less resistance. Bad conductor, more resistance. Second factor is the length of the conductor. If we take a long conductor, the number of collisions of free electrons with the positive ions will be more as compared to the shorter one. Suppose this is a short conductor and this is a long conductor. So here the number of collisions will be more, obstruction will be more. So resistance increases with length. More length, more will be the resistance offered by the conductor. Third factor is the thickness of the conductor. If a conductor is thicker, so the electrons will get a larger area of cross section to flow as compared to a thin conductor. So a thick conductor will offer less resistance. The electrons can move easily, obstruction will be less. So resistance is inversely proportional to the thickness or area of cross section of the conductor. Less thickness, more resistance, more thickness, less resistance. Also you can substitute area with pi r square because the front cross section of a wire is a circle and the area of a circle is pi r square. So children, if the radius of the wire of the same length is doubled, okay, if radius is doubled or area of cross section becomes 4 times because this is square, 2r square becomes 4 times, area of cross section becomes 4 times. So resistance will become 1/4. Area becomes 4 times, resistance becomes 1/4. If the radius is tripled or area becomes 9 times, if radius is tripled, area becomes 9 times, so resistance becomes 1/9. So like this you can calculate. Now fourth factor is the temperature of the conductor. If we increase the temperature of conductor, the random motion of electrons increases because they will gain kinetic energy. As a result, the number of collisions with the positive ions will also increase. Hence, the resistance of a conductor increases with increase in temperature. Like if you take a bulb, the resistance of the filament of bulb is more when it is glowing. Glowing, that means it is high temperature. So there then the resistance will be more as compared to that when it is not glowing. That is when it is cold. Now what is specific resistance or resistivity? We have done the resistance of a wire is directly proportional to its length and inversely proportional to the area of cross section. So if we combine these two, we will get R is proportional to L upon A or R is proportional to L upon pi R square. To remove this proportionality constant, we assign a constant that is called rho. So R equals to rho L upon pi R square or R equals to rho L upon A. This constant is known as specific resistance or resistivity. Rho, this is the resistivity. Thus, if L equals to 1, length is 1 unit, area of cross section is 1 unit, then R becomes equals to rho or rho equals to R. That means the specific resistance of a material is the resistance of a wire of that material of unit length and unit area of cross section. In other words, the specific resistance of a material is the resistance between the opposite faces of a unit cube of that material. Unit cube means length 1 unit and area 1 unit. So its resistance will be same as the specific resistance. Now how to find the unit of the specific resistance or resistivity? From this formula, rho equals to Ra upon L. We cross multiply. Now the unit of our resistance is ohm and unit of area is square meter upon unit of length is meter. Meter cancel. So the unit of resistivity is ohm meter. Now the factors affecting the specific resistance. The specific resistance of a substance is a characteristic property and it is different for different substances. Specific resistance in fact depends on the material of the conductor. Its resistance will change, but specific resistance will not change for the same material. Now specific resistance is very low for metals and alloys, low for semiconductors but very high for insulators. Semiconductors are the materials between whose conductivity lie between metals and non-metals or insulators. And second factor is the specific resistance also depends on temperature. It increases with increase in temperature for metals, but it decreases with increase in temperature for semiconductors. And for some alloys, that is constant and manganese, it remains practically constant with change in temperature. So the two factors affecting specific resistance are the material and the second factor is the temperature. Now conductivity, like conductance were the reciprocal of resistance. So conductivity, it is denoted by the sign sigma. Conductivity is reciprocal of resistivity. So sigma equals to 1 upon rho equals to L upon Ra, reciprocal of rho. So what will be its unit become? Unit of length is meter, unit of resistance ohm and unit of area square meter. So it becomes per ohm per meter and it is also known Siemens per meter. So now the choice of material of the wire depends on the purpose for which the wire is used. For electrical connection, power transmission, we use copper, aluminium, whose specific resistance is very low. Okay, children, low specific resistance means they are good conductors. So we use copper and aluminium for conducting wires. The standard resistance are of high resistance. They are made of constant and manganese, etc., whose specific resistance is high. Fuse wire is made of alloy of tin and lead because melting point is low and specific resistance is more. Filament of electric bulb is made up of tungsten because it has very high melting point. It will not melt. And the heating element of appliances such as heater, toaster, oven, they are made of high resistance wire so that they do not pass on the current. They become red hot and start giving heat. So nichrome wire is used for these purposes.